Good morning in the grain markets here early on Wednesday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. December corn futures unchanged at 563 and a half. November soybeans down 8 3/4 at 1352 3/4. December Chicago wheat up a half cent at 7.49. December Kansas City wheat up 3/4 of a cent at 7.30. December spring wheat up 4 3/4 at 9.12 1/4. If you guys are listening on the podcast, as always, appreciate it, guys. Leave me a rating or a review if you have not already. As I've discussed here the last couple of weeks, Apple has been especially slow at uploading episodes. I upload this stuff to every podcast app about 3 minutes after I'm done live streaming here, but the individual apps take different amounts of time, and Apple is extremely slow. So check out a different app if the Apple app in particular is slow to update. If you're watching on YouTube, guys, appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like these videos. Help me to grow this thing. My goal is to get to 5,000 subscribers. We're sitting at about 2,600. I think we can do it. I think the viewers are out there, so certainly help me out there. If you need some additional assistance from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. Go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan here in the upper right-hand corner. For $49 a month, I send my subscribers a ton of information. You'll get my morning email, which goes out every business day at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. In that email, you're going to get charts, weather maps, all sorts of analysis, every overnight headline that you need to be aware of. My subscriber-only videos are sent as part of these emails and also via text message. This is some really great stuff. I really get into grain marketing, grain markets in a lot more detail than I can here in the videos. So if you're looking for some more specific grain marketing information in particular, if you're a farmer, you're looking for some new ideas, you don't want to trade futures or options, this is a standalone product. There's no trading account required, no other fee, no other obligation. Cancel it absolutely anytime. Give it a shot, guys. We had the Pro Farmer Tour out with some additional results yesterday, and generally what they found was very good corn crops in Nebraska and Indiana. When you get into the numbers here, the Nebraska corn yield estimated by the tour at 182.4, which would be up from 175.2 last year and above the 3-year tour average of 175.6. So you've got a really nice looking corn yield in Nebraska. That would mark an increase as far as the tour goes of 7.6% on the year. Or I'm sorry, that's in Indiana. 4% increase for Nebraska, and USDA is calling for a corn yield increase of only 1.5%. So the tour kind of indicating here that Nebraska could be a little bit better year over year than what USDA has indicated. The soybean pod count in Nebraska, 1226, down from 1297 last year and below the 3-year average of 1269. So in Nebraska, very good corn, kind of like subpar in regard to soybeans. Indiana's very similar. The tour had the Indiana corn yield at 193.5, up from the tour number of 179.8 last year, way above the 3-year tour average of 174.5. So the tour estimating in Indiana a 7.6% increase in the state's corn yield versus last year. USDA is only estimating an increase of 1.9%. And I'm not comparing the yield numbers, but I am comparing USDA versus Pro Farmer. But I think it is interesting to compare the percentage changes year over year. And what the tour is telling us in regard to corn, both in Nebraska and Indiana, is that your percentage improvements year over year in corn are going to be much better than what USDA is telling us. Just like in Nebraska, the pod counts with beans in Indiana were kind of disappointing. 1294 versus 1281 last year, and 1172. I'm sorry, 1290. No, the pod counts in Indiana were good. I'm sorry, I'm looking at too many numbers here, guys. 1294 pod count for Indiana versus 1281 last year, 1172 the 3-year average. So pod counts in Indiana good, not as good in Nebraska. So the tour, again, kind of confirming what we already know. I mean, we knew that Indiana was going to be good. We knew that Nebraska is probably okay. Problem areas, of course, South Dakota we knew was a problem area. I think Iowa was going to be the real interesting one because I think Iowa was a mixed bag depending on the location, and they'll get into Iowa, I believe, today and tomorrow. Rains slated to move into the U.S. Northern Plains by Friday this week, and there's going to be some decent rain here, I think, for some areas. This system here, and I talked about this yesterday, the forecast hasn't really changed. This stuff right here for North Dakota, South Dakota is going to move in early Friday and work its way through on Saturday. The best coverage is going to be seen in some of these central areas of South Dakota. The far, say the eastern third of North Dakota is going to do really well. This western southern area of central to northern Minnesota will do really well. And this system's going to kind of make its way out pretty quickly by Sunday, but then there's a follow-up system that comes in Sunday, Monday. So these rains will certainly be welcome for these areas. What you can see here is that southern Iowa's left kind of dry, a lot of Illinois left kind of dry, Indiana left dry, but these rains remain in the forecast, and it has not really changed a whole lot this week. There's been a backlog at ports in China. They're becoming congested due to these zero tolerance COVID policies. And yesterday, more than 50 container vessels were stuck at China's second largest port, according to Reuters data. And that's pretty interesting. What they're doing here are these COVID restrictions, and they're basically restricting any sort of vessel if there is one COVID case. Any positive test of COVID means that vessel is going to be restricted. And that's probably not the best policy, because we know that even those with vaccines, hang on, my kid's here. Jimmy, you got to get out of the camera, bud. We know that even those with vaccines you can get COVID and you can test positive for it even if you don't have symptoms. So we've seen a ton of that in this country. I mean, if you follow the COVID situation, even in your neighborhood, you know that people that have had the vaccine can test positive. So this seems to be a poor policy here, but it's going to result in congestion and all sorts of different things at the port. So it's not a big deal yet, but could this turn into a big deal? Yeah, it definitely could. U.S. exporters, more news on the export front. U.S. exporters did sell more new crop soybeans to China yesterday. 198,000 to China, another 132 to an unknown destination. 9 consecutive days in which a soybean sale has been reported. In regard to corn, China has not made a new crop purchase since the month of May. I believe I'm correct on that. If I'm wrong, let me know. But China made these huge purchases in April and mostly in May of new crop corn, but they haven't made a purchase since. And that kind of raises some questions here. But the buying is there for soybeans, as it typically is, and corn, kind of a question mark. I mean, China still has a record book of corn purchases from the U.S. for the new crop marketing year, but they haven't bought anything in a while. Cattle market finished the day lower yesterday. Down in the fat cattle, down in the feeder cattle. No cash trade established yet this week. The box beef market just off to the races again, up $8 in the choice boxes, up another $3 in the select boxes. U.S. dollar unchanged at 93.15 this morning. We've got the S&P down 4. The Dow's down 70. Bonds off a little bit. Precious metals are up a little bit. Crude oil is up 81 cents at 67.40. Everybody have a wonderful day today. I will talk to you guys same time tomorrow.